so excited to take you through the client conversion kit because one of the biggest problems in small business is the ability to get a consistent client flow. Yeah, you get this feast or famine. You have kind of like this haphazard, like chunk of business if you get it at all, and then maybe it like thins out and maybe it comes back and you're doing all these things for it. It's just messy. I'm going to show you today something super smooth that works. Does that sound good? If it does, give me a yes in the chat. We're gonna play together. Yeah? One of these days maybe we'll get to see each other in person, but for now, we'll play together in the chat box. So you can also, I think, raise your hand. Do they have the ability to do like raising hands and stuff? I'm not sure. I don't see that you do, so we'll just have to use the chat. Amazing. So I'm going to keep the chat up on screen the whole time, and that way we can communicate in real time. So I'm going to share my screen because I have slides for you. And I like slides. I am a visual processor personally, and so I find that having slides or some other visual presentation really helps me anchor and learn the material. And today I'm going to give it to you so that you can walk away able to actually implement it. All right, so I'm going to share screen. You'll tell me if you see my slides. And what you should see is my slideshow and not my notes. So you should not be able to see all my secrets behind the scenes, all right? Just someone let me know that, yes, you see a slide. No, you don't see my next slide. You should just see it says like client conversion kit, and that's it. You can't see it. Thanks, Jenny. Amazing. All right. So first, I gotta just tell you a little bit, take you back just a tad to when I was told, no one will take you seriously. No one will hire you. And back in 2011, I was working as the CIO of a multinational nonprofit. Loved my boss. I loved my job. And I had flex time, which was so important to me. I had 3 little kids at the time. Eliana said I now have 5 little kids. That's so, they're getting bigger. They're still pretty small. And I always wanted to have that balance where I could have the family, have the career, make it all work. And I was doing good, okay, honestly, until they hired this guy, a middle manager, who came in like a bull in a china shop. But he was just super toxic. I remember I was supposed to go to Argentina. He's like, I'm going to Argentina instead of you. I was managing a team of people. He's like, your team is my team, and you're my new secretary. It's like, I'm good at a lot of things. I'm not the best secretary. And it got so bad that I had to leave. Yeah, like there's just this one day where I was like, you know what? I can't do this. This job is killing me. It's leaching out my entire life force. Anybody ever have that where you're involved in a workplace situation, whether it was with a client, where it's toxic? And you're like, this is literally leaching all the oxygen in my life. Can you relate? I was just couldn't breathe. I was crying all the time. It was terrible. And so I left, and I was terrified. I was the primary supporter of our growing family. I had no idea where our money was going to come from. I just knew that I couldn't stay. I don't believe that you're meant to sacrifice your life on the altar of work or money. Just not. And so I went out and I started looking for a job. But I had this secret dream. And so I'd be sitting in these cafes and out places, and I'd overhear, and it was always women. They'd be talking, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so smart. You're so good. You should do this professionally. It's amazing. And I've been running small businesses since I was a kid, profitably, since I was 10. And I wanted to help them because I'd hear these women going like, oh my God, you should just sell cupcakes for $1. And I was like, duh, guys, like, you don't know what you're doing. Right? I'm like this typical oldest child. Like, I'm going to help everybody, fix everybody. And I would just sit there, and I had this burning desire to do small business consulting. But guys, this is 10 years ago, okay? More. Now, it's the beginning of the small business boom. There are no consultants for small businesses. Small business owners in those days either had what it took or you didn't. You either managed on your own or you didn't. There was no such thing as help for small businesses. But after 2008 recession, a lot of people were struggling. A lot of people had lost their jobs. And I was like, I know I can help them. And then one interview I was on, meeting this headhunter, and she was like my idol, right? She had this former McKinsey consultant. McKinsey's one of the largest consulting firms in the world. And now she's doing HR and headhunting from her living room, getting her work-life balance. And I'm like, I want to be you. I want to do business consulting. And so at one point in the interview, and by the way, she sent me for nice C-suite jobs. So she held of me. At one point in the interview, she's like, Estie, what do you really want to do? What's the dream? I'm like, I'm going to confide in her. She's this business consultant. She's going to be able to help me. She's going to tell me how to do this. And I'm like, getting all excited, right? Because I got this dream. I'm like, God's on my side and everything's falling into place. And so I tell her, I really want to do small business consulting. I see all these people, they want to sell on Etsy and do massage therapy and be coaches. And I can help them. I know I can help them. I'll never forget. She looked me straight in the eye and she said, Estie, no one will take you seriously. No one will hire you. You need another 20 years C-level experience before anyone pays you for your advice. And I was devastated, right? Because this person who I looked up to, who seemed to have everything and all the information that could help me, was telling me, no, I'm smarter. You're missing all this information and you're going to fail. You're an idiot. Like, I was in my 20s at the time. Like, I was so little. And so I let it go. I said, okay, I'm an idiot. I'm not going to do this, right? I'm not going to try something that I'm so obviously going to fail at. No one's going to pay me for my advice. I remember going home that day. I remember standing by the window and there's like sunlight streaming in and just tears streaming down my face because my dream has just been absolutely shredded. And that's it. So I went out looking for more jobs. I went on the interviews she sent me on, and I could not find anything that would give me the mental stimulation I wanted, the money I wanted, the flexibility I wanted. It just wasn't happening. Finally, I said, I just have to do my own thing. Like I said, I've been running businesses profitably since I was a kid. I used to sell these string bracelets as a kid. And I did good money. I taught hip hop exercise classes. I've done medical billing, database architecture, hairstyling. Like, I've done it all. And I've never had like a full business, right? I just had these like side hustles. I did like little side businesses. They're nice extra pocket change, but to like rely on me for my whole income, in your minds. But I had this dream and I could not let it go. My dream was that I could get everyone to live theirs, that everyone could express themselves and their talents through business and earn money on it. And people would just look at me like, you're so idealistic. Like, you're going to come back to reality. And I just couldn't let it go. One of my early clients, I remember I would leaf through all the like weekly advertisers and I'd be like, look at the ads and I'd be like, okay, maybe, it's terrible. Oh, waste of money. Like, I would do it just for torture, And I remember going through one of these magazines and I see this ad, looks kind of like this. And it was just so confusing. It was missing all of the working parts of an ad, right? I have a degree in marketing from a top business school in New York. And I would look at these things, I'm like, come on. Are you a wedding planner? Are you a florist? Are you a stylist? Like, what do you do? It was so confusing. I remember thinking like, poor lady, she's putting these ads out, she's paying good money and it's such a waste. And about 2 weeks after that, I get a call from someone. Hi, Estie. I don't know if you've seen my ads in the local weeklies, but I'm having some trouble. I'm like, yeah, I know. She's like, how do you know? Because I saw your ads. I would just freak out. I can't stand waste. She became one of my early clients. We got her business working. We improved her ads. And, she got up to like a nice stable 5-figure revenue. And then she came back a couple of years later, we got her up to 6 figures. So my dream is the company that I now run, Estie Rand Consulting. I built it to 6 figures in profit in under 2 years with 0 in ad spend, right? Because as a small business, you don't necessarily need advertising. For the most part, you don't, right? My dream of this consulting firm that would service micro businesses with everything, strategy and implementation and social media and business plans and marketing strategy, I got it, right? And that is what I got to do. And I really, truly believe that everyone can do what they love, earn buckets of money, and have time for their life and family. And creating that self-sustaining sales cycle makes it easy to unlock that door and turn your idea into recurring revenue. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, just shoot me in the chat. Like, would you like me to teach you what it takes that When you wake up in the morning, you're not thinking where my next client or customer comes from. You're not also thinking, what happens when this engagement ends? You're not thinking, what do I have to spend or do on marketing in order to bring in business? You wake up knowing that business is flowing, knowing that you can rely on that. Let me know if you want that. Shoot me in the chat. Is that something you'd like? All right, I got Rosemary and Jenny and Lana. Great. The rest of you, come along for the ride. All right, so I'm going to show you today my client conversion kits. All right, this is a graphic organizer. Like I said, I like visuals. I find for me as a visual learner, they really help. And what I'll do is, if Online X guys, if you want, I will let them send this out to you, right? So that you can have your very own client conversion kit. Now, right now it looks like gibberish. Right? It's like this funny picture with like shapes and circles and a sun and a little menchie triangles. I will give this to you and I will explain to you what you need to do to create it. And this shows you the flow. All right. So just so that you know if you're in the right place, this training, like who's it built for? Sometimes you go to these trainings and you're like, okay, this is way too advanced for me. It's over my head. Sometimes you go on these trainings and you're like, oh, this is so beginner. Like I'm so beyond that. So I'll just tell you like who this is built for. If you're a total novice, right? If you're new at this, if you're new in business, if you're in business for like a year or less, these are the strategies that launched. All my examples are real. These are real clients, real people, but I blur them. So I don't tell you real names or genders or industries just to respect their privacy. So JS went from $0 to $120,000 in his nonprofit in under 3 months using this stuff. If you're knowledgeable, maybe you're in business for 2 years, 3 years, you know some stuff, you're missing other pieces, right? This took RL, she was struggling trying to get like $20,000 from her business. Again, this is in the US. So I know that money is different all over the world, but she ended up coming out with a smooth 6-figure business. And for those of you who might be like, okay, I can't check this out, but I kind of already know everything. This stuff tweaked DM for like an instant income of 10K. Now they were already doing 100,000 plus. So shoot me in the chat. Where are you at? You novice, you knowledgeable, you advanced. I just want to kind of know. So, because I'll tailor my stuff to you where kind of the majority is at. So I got novice. Rosemary, you're on the ball today, honey. Thank you. I got novice. Okay, if I got mostly novices, I will give you super basic stuff. Okay, so I got knowledgeable, novice. All right. Amazing, knowledgeable. Okay, so we got a nice split, novice and knowledgeable. Cool. There's a lot more of you here than those who are answering. This is interactive, people. Come on, wake up. Get those little typing fingers ready. Okay, amazing. All right, Milena. I don't know if I pronounced that right. So you're advanced. So I'm going to make sure I throw in a couple little things for you. You'll let me know. Yes, I got it right. Excellent. You let me know if I got you on some things. But overall, I'm going to make sure that I don't take anything like over your head, right? So I'll break everything down to basics and I'll give you the levels. You only need 3 things. So it's really not such a big deal. All right. All you need is 3 household items: a funnel, a pyramid, and an hourglass. Kind of things you have lying around the house. So I know most people don't really have an hourglass on hand, but these are the 3 elements to your self-sustaining marketing sales strategy. All right, I'm going to break them down one piece at a time. Piece number 1 is your funnel. Now, you can't really be in a business or sales today without having heard the word sales funnel. If you're a novice, maybe, but overall, everyone's talking like, I have a sales funnel, fill your pipeline, fill your funnel. And I'm just going to explain like, what is that, right? What are they talking about? So first of all, what's a funnel? Now let's just look at the shape. Yeah, it's a V. It's wider on top, it's narrower on bottom. And the idea is you put in time, money, energy at the top, right? And that gives you people. Then you put those people through, yeah, and kind of get less and less of them as it goes down. And then hopefully at the bottom of the funnel, some of them come out and pay you money. That's the idea. That's what a sales funnel is meant to be. And the concept is it's always wider at the top. I'm always accessing more people that I'm going to get as paying clients. When you start out, especially when you're really passionate about what you do, and God knows I am, like you expect everyone you meet, like they're going to want what you have. You're like, no, this is amazing. Okay. Like you want this, you need this. And when they're like, you're like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't they buy? there's always going to be a certain amount of people that don't buy. It's just how it is. Period. End of story. It's how it is in all businesses. What you're aiming for is as narrow a funnel as possible, right? So instead of reaching 1,000 people to get one customer, try to reach 10 people to get one customer, 3 people to get one customer, right? Because the wider it is, the more time, energy, money you're putting in. So I break it down to 5 stages. If you look this up online, you'll see all different versions. I like the 5 and I'll explain why. Okay, so the 5 stages that I work with are attention, interest, evaluation, negotiation, decision. And for those of you taking screenshots, you can go ahead. But like I said, I'm going to give you your own worksheet at the end so that you have this to work with on your own. So think of it like bread. Yeah, think about it because it's easy for me to explain this concept, let's say in a one-on-one sales conversation. Shoot me also in the chat, how many of you are doing service businesses? How many are doing product businesses? Just so I know I'm dealing with. So again, I'll give you service versus product examples as we go. All right, so I got product. Oh, okay, I got a couple product services. Okay, nice mix. Fantastic. Okay, fine. Oh, you who are doing product and service, who was that? Chanel? Who said that? Yeah. Okay. So you have the hardest job. Sorry. Because product and service, you got to get both right. That's why restaurants have one of the highest failure rates because they're doing product, which is the food, and service, which is the waitering service and the food service. So product and service is the toughest blend. You're really mastering 2 disciplines at the same time. We call it one because you got to make one business out of it. So I'm going to walk you through the product example, and then you'll see how the service one works, and I'll bring that in case studies. So think of bread, okay? You go to the store and there's this new bread and it wants to get your attention, okay? So what are they gonna do? Maybe there's a coupon and a circular, maybe there's a little sign on the shelf, maybe they have one of these end cap displays, those are things at the ends of the aisles, right? They're gonna do something to try to capture your attention. Now, many people take these first 2 stages, they bundle them, and they call them awareness. Here's why I don't like that. Because just because someone's aware of you doesn't mean they care. And a lot of people pour money into marketing to get awareness that goes nowhere. What you want to do is make sure you're getting attention that turns into interest. Okay, so that interest is going to depend on who it's being sold to, right? Let's say I'm very health conscious and so you're making this like multi-grain, very healthy, fortified, calcium rich bread. And I'm going to see that and that's going to appeal to me. That's going to pique my interest. Let's say I'm on a diet, right? But I really, really like bread and you're selling me this 0 calorie, 0 flavor cardboard bread. And I'm like, yes, I still get to have bread on my diet. Win. So depending on who I am, that's what's going to pique my interest. Once you've gotten someone's attention and you've gotten their interest, they will move to evaluate, right? So how does it work with bread? I'll walk over to the thing. If it's gotten my interest based on the messaging, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how all these kind of things and buzzwords that you hear, how they fit into this kind of framework so everything has a place. So I'll move to evaluate. I'll pick up the bread and I'll look at it. Is it actually as cardboardy as it says, 0 calorie, healthy, whatever it is? And I'll evaluate. Evaluation is always on the merits of the product or service. Okay? When you get a phone call from somebody, if you're in a service-based business, and they just call and say, hey, I need help with X, how much do you charge? What they've done is they skipped straight ahead to negotiation. Negotiation is on price. What you have to do is take them back a step back to evaluation. If someone's asking you price before you've ever spoken to them about what you do, it means they've already made a decision about the benefits of your offer. They just want to know how much it costs so they can decide. Because people always look at the benefits of the thing before the price. Think about it for yourself. So in bread, this is all happening in my head. This is not happening in an interactive conversation. And those of you in a product space, you have to be aware that this is why packaging is so critical. This is why all of the other messaging, everything you do around it, because the people are not having this conversation live with you most of the time, right? Unless you're selling some kind of very significant or large products, they're having the conversations on their own. Yeah. Sometimes salespeople, it depends on your line of work. People will always evaluate on the merits. Then they'll see if the price is right. then they'll make a decision. Now notice I've got less, so I call those little people menchies, right? All those little avatars, I call them menchies. So you have less people as you go down. You will always lose people at each stage. You can even lose people at decision. Yeah. I don't have this thing. Okay. If you're in product, you might not be aware of it if you're not doing direct sales of your product. But in service, where we're doing mostly direct sales and you're speaking to people, where someone's like, they're ready, they're gung ho, they're about to sign, or they even signed, and then they skip town. Okay, so in our bread example, I could be in the supermarket, I could pick up the bread, it got my attention, I was interested, I evaluated $2, okay, is that worth it? Yes, no, and it's all happening in a blink of a second, but this is the psychological process everyone goes through when they buy things. And so I get to decision, I get to the checkout counter, and the checkout girl is on her phone, slow, away from the counter. Sometimes in like the little supermarkets, right, there's just like nobody there, or the line is super long, and I'm like, you know what, forget it, this isn't important enough. Like I dropped the bread. Okay, so you can lose people anywhere. When you recognize that, you start building a sales cycle. Again, that makes it as narrow as possible to capture as many people that you put in to push them through. So there are keys at every stage of this, but there's one master key, if you will, to mastering the funnel. I just want to check in because I live in Los Angeles, but I'm actually from New York. And so I've gotten rid of my Brooklyn accent, but my talking speed sometimes is that of a New Yorker. Are we at a good pace, right? So just give me like a yes for good pace. Give me a no for slow down. This is a good pace. Yes, doing great. Amazing. Okay, I always like to check in because sometimes I get ahead of myself. All right, good. Especially when I speak to like other countries, other cultures. Sometimes I'm like, slow down, like stop. All right, so I'm going to keep going. I will try not to land on super speed. So the key is the small net, wide net. Okay, this is like the master key to the funnel, right? So sometimes you have keys, but then you have the master key that opens all the doors. This is the master key that opens all the doors of the funnel. Okay, I like to think of it like a fisherman. Imagine a fisherman. He's going out and he's got his little net catching fish. Catch some fish, put them in the boat, catch some fish, put them in the boat. And he's sitting there and he's like, you know, keep catching all these little fish, put them in the boat, catch them little fish, put them in the boat. It's taking forever. If I just take my net and I stretch it, I could catch so many more fish. He stretches his net, throws it in the water, pulls it out, and gets a dirty tire. Right? All the little fish you swim right through because when you stretch your net, you get all these big holes. And what most people do in trying to fill their funnel, do their marketing, whatever you call it, right? If you know the language, right? So targets and avatars and all of this is they stretch their net and they try to be everything to everybody. When they do that, all they get is a dirty tire. Because when you try to be everything to everybody, you're nothing to nobody. And what you must do is you need to have a target audience, right? So you're gonna think, well, Estie, big business doesn't do that, right? Big business targets everybody. It's not true. It's not true. And now that when I explain this to you, you're gonna see it and you'll see it everywhere. Okay, I remember when I was driving out here in Los Angeles in like Koreatown, and I remember seeing the billboards, and there's this billboard for Honda. And it wasn't just that the words were in obviously like an Asian script, right? Which I know, and I just don't know how to read. The entire look of the ad was so different. And it wasn't just that they had Asian people in it. The lighting, the structure, the personal distance between the people in the ad, right? Every culture has like different comfortable social distances. I'm not talking about social distancing now, going back a couple of years, but like there are cultures where like in America, it's like if you go into an elevator, you will naturally end up in like opposite corners if you don't know the person. There's just like a very strong distance. And I know other places in the world where it's really not like that. And so like the distance of the people, it was very targeted and it was so clearly cultural. Like I live in West Hollywood, like it's Yuppieville, right? There are more dogs than people, I think, where I live. And the ads are completely different. What the big companies do, they don't target to everybody. They micro target a lot of small groups. They target this group this way, and 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 they can afford to. As a small business owner, you can't. I mean, look, if you have a trust fund, you want to drain it on this, go ahead, but why would you? No fun. So you need to do what I call target marketing, right? I'm sure you've heard this term before. Think about what it means to hit a target. Yeah, a lot of people get very nervous when I teach this. Like, but I'm going to lose people. But if I just go after this one group, like what's going to happen to all these other people? So here's what happens, guys. Unless you're like literally an Olympic level dart player, you're not going to hit dead center every time. But if you're aiming dead center, hopefully you at least hit the board. Okay. Every business has a group of people that it serves best. And you need to get to know who those people are. And if you think that it's everybody, you're wrong. I've literally worked with hundreds, possibly thousands of businesses at this point. Like I've long lost count. I'm doing this for over 10 years, 12 years now. I've long lost count. There is no business that does not have an ideal avatar, an ideal target. Now, as you scale and companies become multinational, as behemoth corporate entities, so they will rejig to many different groups. But even those companies started by focusing on a group. So you've got to focus in. And here's an example of how it comes into play. Okay. One of my clients, Sam, he had a very expensive service product, if you will. It was a SaaS, software as a service for the hospitality industry. And again, real examples blurred. Okay. So if you think you know who I'm talking about, there's no way. This is not, I've changed it all up. And he would get these meetings. So he was able to get in the door, right? So he got awareness, he got interest, they were willing to evaluate him, right? They were willing to let him do a presentation about his software, and his software was genius, right? It really was going to make the hotels a ton more money. It's totally worth its price of $250,000 a year, which is what he was trying to charge for it. But he would open his mouth and he would like try to start presenting, and the CEOs, these are hardliners, right? These are like 9 and 10 figure businesses. Yeah, these are like, 300, 500 million, like billion-dollar companies. Like these are massive behemoth companies. And the first thing these CEOs would say to him is, how much is it? Be like, it's $250,000, but it's worth it. And let me explain. And they'd just be like, no, thanks. And throw him out. What was the issue? He wasn't thinking about his target. He figured out who it was, but he didn't get into their head. Even the CEO of a billion-dollar company isn't going to buy something for $250,000 like this. Price anchoring, okay? And so what we did for him is we kind of broke it up. And the way we broke it up ended up getting him 3 sales in less than 3 months. Yeah, so that's $750,000 in case you were counting. And the trick was getting into their head, right? They don't want to spend $250,000. So you got to first tell them, it's, $300 per month, per module, per location. Oh, okay. Now they're ready to listen. Now you take them through the presentation. If you're not in the head of your avatar, if you don't know who your person is and how they think and how they work, your marketing will fall flat, and you'll keep filling your funnel with the wrong people, with people who never progress through. All of the parts of this, getting the right people in and taking those people on the journey is the master key. It's the key that opens all the office doors in the building, which always the janitor gets. You ever wonder about that? Really? You want to design your avatar so clearly that, and when I do this with my clients and our course participants, like I will get the feedback. Like I just got feedback recently. One of our course participants, she's like, came out to the call and she's like, Estie, you're not going to believe it. I was out apple picking, and as I'm apple picking, like we had just, designed the avatar. She's like, and I'm there and I see my avatar. Like, I don't know who it is. It's a total stranger, but I just know it's them. Like they're there with their husband, the way they looked and the way they dressed. And I just knew it was my person. That's when you got it. When you know your person so well that you literally, and I could do this for a while. I could walk into an office building and be like, that's one of my guys. Like I could literally know. I know because I'm so clear who my best people are. You've got to do this work. And I like to name them. This is actually a sample worksheet from our program. You totally can screenshot it if you want, but I have part of this breakdown on that thing that I'm going to give you. So once again, I know because I'm this type, right? I'll sit on these classes. I'm like, oh, screenshot. Let me get this. Let me grab this. So go ahead. I'm going to give it to you anyways. I like to name them. Give them a name. Make it real. I like to use alliteration. It just makes it more fun. Really get into their mindset. Get into their heart set. Figure out what they're about so that you start putting the right people in and pushing them through and talking to them. Now, I'm kind of noticing where we are on time, and I know what I still have to teach you. So I'm just going to gloss over the next slide, because once you know who your people are, you need to know who they're not, right? So I'm not going to go deep into it because I'm going to lose time to give you everything else. But just so you know, once you know who they are, you got to just figure out client filters, right? And customer filters so you know who they're not, right? So if you have a product, you want to figure out how to filter out the people who are going to buy in return. Okay, you don't want those people to buy because they're just going to return. So you need to create certain filters so that they don't do that, right? Clients, yeah. Anyone who's ever worked with a nightmare client, I've had my share. There's the nightmare clients, the dream clients, the psychopaths, a whole other chapter. You want to figure out how to create a filter that they don't come through to begin with. Okay, and it's in your language, your thought, but it's a whole piece. Just know that you want to do it. Okay, so you take people through and you take them through every level, right? So now let's take you through a service example. Throw me in the chat, what are your businesses? What are you selling? What are the products? What are the services? I'm going to make an example for someone. I'll take one of your actual businesses and I'll use it. So what are you actually selling? All right, modest fashion, secondhand truck parts, weight management products, love it, children's clothing, writing services, electronics, baby formula. I love it. Guys, I love you all so much. You have no idea. Like this is everything. This is like everything that I believe in. Mobile coffee shop, custom CVs and LinkedIn profiles, very nice. Chicken inspired designs on tees. Okay, Georgina, that is just fantastic. That is just fantastic. I love it. I had a guy who was doing like coffee t-shirts at one point. It's just fantastic. Teaching 3 to 6-year-olds in digital marketing, mediation, nice online training, hair products. You guys rock. You do. You really, really do. I want you to like kind of all have like a round of applause. Like look at the variety of this. Look at the opportunity we have right now. I wake up today, I just want to celebrate. I know the world is nuts. Okay. I know. I live in Los Angeles. We haven't been fully out of quarantine since March. They never even fully lifted the quarantine in LA, and they recently put us back under again. I know the world is crazy, but the level of opportunity that we have today, when I started doing this even 10 years ago, forget 15 and 20 years ago, to do your own thing like this, to do anything you want and make money doing it, guys, it's amazing. It's just amazing. All right, so I'm going to pick on, what am I going to pick on? I'm going to pick on digital marketing. All right, I'm going to pick on my digital marketer because that's like, it's very clear cut service. Like there's no product elements. It's super clear service. So digital marketer is out there, wants to get the attention of, right, ostensibly a business owner. Yeah. Is it a small business owner? Is it a big business owner? Is it a service industry? Is it a product industry? Is it a specific genre? So we're trying to do digital marketing in healthcare. Are we trying to do it in hospitality? Are we trying to do it in education, right? Who am I trying to do digital marketing for? And if you're going to tell me everybody, yeah, you know what? Let me pick on you. I'm a digital marketer. Where'd you go? Abigail, I'm going to pick on you in the chat, okay? Who are we doing digital marketing for? Yeah? Go ahead. Tell me, everybody. Tell me. Who are we doing digital marketing for? Small businesses. Fantastic. Any specific industry? Mostly startups. Great. Good. We're starting to get more specific. Tech startups? When we say startups, is that tech or is that just any business that's getting started? Software. Fantastic. Okay. Now notice how different it would be if she was targeting a small business. Let's say like one of you, I forgot what your name is. I'm going back and finding you. Who sells truck parts? I thought that was just awesome. Lana. Okay, selling secondhand truck parts, right? To do digital marketing for someone who's selling secondhand truck parts, which by the way, could be a genius idea because we might be looking online for it and digital marketing might really help it, is a completely different endeavor than doing digital marketing for a software company. You could see that, right? I need the attention of a completely different kind of person. I'm going to talk to them different. I'm going to communicate with them different. I'm going to access them different. Like how I get their attention is going to be different, right? So where my guys and gals are is going to be different. How I pique their interest, what I say to them, the language I use, what I communicate, the offers I make is going to be different. How I let them evaluate. Okay, so in digital marketing, you're going to have a phone conversation. Yeah, there's going to be a conversation. In service-based businesses, people don't buy the thing you sell, they buy you. Period, end of story. And if you don't think so, you're just wrong. Okay. And this is part of, when I teach scaling a service business, it's how you disengage from the business that essentially people were always just buying you. So there's a piece there understand though that they're buying you. And so they will evaluate you and the merits. Then they'll evaluate the value of the services. And again, the value of digital marketing services to a startup software company is totally different than the value, cash value, right? Inherent value of digital marketing services to a secondhand truck part selling company. And then even at decision, you can lose people. So the flow, let's say, would be, someone's doing digital marketing for software SaaS. Maybe you've gotten their attention. You've run your own ad. Maybe you've run your own ad and you've done targeted ads and they've seen it. Maybe you have done networking. Maybe you've done, I recently presented at like a venture capital summit, right? Maybe you've done a presentation through an organization that targets software startups. So you've gotten their attention. You've gotten their interest based on your messaging, and you've pushed them to an evaluation, which is typically a phone call, right? Sometimes a website will be an evaluation tool. Notice that a website is not an attention tool. Know why? Because no one accidentally trips over your website. It is not 2001. Like, no one's going to accidentally find you because you put a website online. That's not an attention tool. It's an evaluation tool. Know where your things go, okay? So they'll look maybe at your website, they'll evaluate you, they get on a call, you'll negotiate price, and then maybe they'll say yes, maybe they'll say no. So the decision phase is where you follow up, right? Hey, here's your proposal. Do you want to work together? All of this stuff. And you aim to pull them through interactively. But if they don't sign up, but they don't say, don't call us, we'll call you, you follow up. That's the decision phase. And you try to push them through decision, right? Bread, you have a much harder time, right? You can't follow up with the person on bread. You're not in the store. But even I've had these niche clothing stores, as long as you have salespeople on site, if you're selling your own products in your own retail space, there are follow-up methods. So you want to aim to hold on to as many people at each phase, okay? This is your funnel. We've only done 1/3. But the other ones are a little lighter. This one's more dense, okay? All good so far? You still with me? Give me a thumbs up and a yes, because I'm going to take you through the pyramid. Rosemary, I love you because you're so fast. So I asked the question, you answer me right away. So I know you're all here. Thank you. Sometimes I wonder, because I sit on Zoom all day. I just talk to myself. All right. We are still in. So Rosemary and Georgina are still with me. The rest of you have taken a nap. Excellent. Good to know. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Ian, Abigail. Okay. Thank you very much. Told you this is interactive. Okay. Fabulous. So here's the thing about a funnel. It's not stable. It can't stand. Okay. It's wobbly, right? You're constantly having to funnel time, money, and energy in to get more attention from more people and get their interest and get to validate and get to negotiate and get them to make a decision. And I got to funnel in and again. And it's just, it just brings burnout, right? It's so intensive and it becomes expensive also if you end up having to spend money to do this. And so the pyramid though is stable, right? Because what does the pyramid look like? Yeah, it stands, right? Try to stand up a funnel, it won't stand. Pyramid stands, right? Pyramid is where you begin to build stability in your business. This is where you can begin to rely on this thing, okay? So I put 5 levels in this also, okay? First thing you do is you retain them. I don't know how big. Is Amazon really big in South Africa? I mean, obviously Amazon is massive in America. Is Amazon really big there? Do you have like a different big online shopping thing? So. Okay. Take a lot. Okay, cool. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm going to check that out. So just take a lot. Like Amazon has a ridiculous return policy, right? Like you have 30 days or more sometimes that you can return almost anything. Does Take a Lot have like a really good return policy where you could like send almost anything back? Yes, amazing. So in today's product world, most people look at everything they buy as returnable. It's just how we've been wired. Yeah. And everywhere I check in the world, I've spoken all over the world, I get a similar reaction. Like I always like to know like kind of what's the tool. That's part of my fun is like learning all the new things. But we've been conditioned. Once upon a time, you bought something, it was yours. You didn't like it, it was too bad. Okay, not today. Today, you buy something, you check it out, you try it on, you see if you like it, you send it back. If you bought it from a physical store, you take it home, you try it out, you bring it back. We've been conditioned. And so retention, right? Keeping your customer, having them keep your product or not drop your service or cancel your contract in middle is the first step to having a stable business, okay? Now, how do you retain people? How do you retain people, okay? You retain people just by keeping your promises. That's it. Here's the thing. So many small business owners that I work with, especially in service, when you're starting out, like you want that business, you need that business, and you'll promise almost anything to get that business. Here's the problem. Very often people promise even when they know they can't deliver, or they promise hoping they can make it, but knowing they might not. And when you do that, you disappoint people and they might ask for their money back, right? Now, I'll give you a photographer example, right? I worked with this one photographer who, had a great funnel. Yeah, she was a big Instagrammer, was getting all her people in, but she wasn't getting repeats. She wasn't getting referrals. And she just didn't know why, right? Everyone said, oh my God, you're the best and your stuff's the best. And it's the best, 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 best. And her stuff was gorgeous, huge following. But she was constantly having to put time, energy, money into her funnel. And what was happening was she was promising people, because people wanted their pictures right away, right? You go to photography, you take your pictures, you're like, okay, I want it. Like, how long can it take to get it to me? Give it to me tomorrow, today, tomorrow. So she was promising people to have it within, let's say, 3 days, but she knew it took her a week. Part of why her pictures were so gorgeous, she would always make adjustments and filters and things before she would give them to people. And so they would always want it. So she wanted to please them. She wanted the business. So she would always tell them within a week, within a few days. And it would usually take her a week. And they were constantly disappointed. Now, the quality of the product was great. They were constantly disappointed. You need to make promises that you can keep if you want people to retain what you sell, and then renew, which is buy more of the same thing, or upsell, which is buy additional things from you. Yeah. So let's take a product example. I remember on Amazon at one point, I was in the market for pajama pants. That was what I was looking for. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to go on Amazon. I'm going to order 7 different things, whatever looks interesting. I'm going to try them on in my house, and then I'm going to send it back if I don't like it. Amazon literally realized everyone was doing this. They built a try-on service. Because they built around the customer base, right? They realized everyone was doing that. So they built a thing where you can get it, try it on, see if you like it for 7 days before you even pay for it. So you have no cash outlay. And then whatever you keep, you return stuff you don't want. And I ordered all these different pants. And I remember some of them came and I was like, these are they were so flimsy, right? Or the quality was so poor. I was just like, and the image online looked so much better. I remember once I ordered a skirt. It was so cute online. And I even checked the reviews. I checked everything. It was this really cute, leopard print skirt. And it came in the mail and it was this big. It wasn't supposed to be a mini skirt. It was supposed to be a mini skirt. I pull it out. I'm all excited. I pull it out of the package and it's this big. And it was instead of it being, let's say a medium adult, it was a medium child. Okay. You're not going to retain your customer like that, right? I immediately, returned it. Don't make promises you can't keep. Don't make promises you can't keep. Make promises that you can keep, okay? You must deliver on what you say you can deliver. When you do, people will start to trust you. If you've ever heard the term trust funnel, make promises and deliver on your promises. And then people will keep things you sell, right? When would someone ask for a refund on services? When you've made a promise that you didn't keep. And they'll say, well, you told me it would be like this. I want a refund or I want a discount, right? Our photographer was getting people like that. They're like, oh my gosh, where's my pictures? Where's my pictures? You know what? It's taking you so long. Maybe you want to give me a little discount, throw in a freebie. And she used to throw in these freebie, portraits and canvases just to make them feel better. And it's it was just about making a promise you can keep. And yes, I know there's a delicate balance, okay? And the delicate balance is that you want to promise enough to get the business, but you can't, you can't, you just can't. I don't know how else to express it. It's, it's a wall. It's a hard stop. If you want your business to work long term, you cannot promise things you can't deliver. And I will tell you, this is a story I actually haven't told before, but it came to me, so I'm going to let it flow through me. I remember at one point, this was not a client, this was a colleague, someone that I knew and that I kind of, worked with, but not as a client of mine. And he was running, let's say it was a marketing agency. Let's say it was a digital marketing agency. And I remember, he was getting these ridiculous contracts and making these big promises. Now, I do digital marketing. Like, I know this. And I remember looking at what he's doing, and I'm like, this is insane. Like, this is the promises he's making and what he's telling people he can do. Like, it's insane. It makes no sense. Like, you can't do these things. And he make all these promises because he wanted the business. Give him benefit of the doubt. Maybe he even thought he could do it, right? 1 year into his business, it's flying. He's earning, multiple six figures. It's going amazingly well, but he's disappointing client after client after client. Into year 2, he's going, he's driving. And again, he's got no pyramid, okay? Because clients are starting to ask for their money back, right? Because they'll try you out, right? You talk a good talk. You see these guys, they're sales guys, they talk a good talk, right? They'll get them in the door. They can't keep them. People are asking for refunds. Some people are doing chargebacks on their credit cards. Some people are starting to protest about him on social media. And, oh man, I see where I am on time. Okay. And about 2 years into his business, I remember he calls me and he's like, Estie, I need help. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I can't get business. I'm like, you've been doing fine for 2 years. He said, yeah, for 2 years, I was able to tell people that I was going to do this. But once I'm in business 2 years, they wanted to see proof and they wanted to talk to my old clients, and I wasn't able to do it. And I remember sitting there being like, yeah, eventually your clock runs out. You got to keep your promises. Okay. So this is your pyramid. Now I realized I got very into things. So I'm just trying to think, what am I going to do for you? I'm not going to tackle this here. I'm just going to skip some slides so I give you the most important part. I'm just going to tell you what the hourglass is, how it works, so that you understand how to fill out the whole thing. And then I'm going to open the floor for Q&A. Okay. So the hourglass works like this. What I love about the hourglass is once you've got the sand inside, it goes through and then it flips and keeps running, and it flips. And this is what I call the self-sustaining sales cycle. The self-sustaining sales cycle is where the bottom of your pyramid, right? These recommendations and referrals, people, your biggest fans will come back to you. They'll bring you more business. They'll send people your way. Yeah. I've never done an ad. I haven't done ads. When you build this right, you don't have to. Your current customers will recommend and refer you and bring you new customers. They'll tell people, you got to check this person out. You've got to try this. You've got to hear this. You've got to buy this because it's so great. And what does that? Okay. What creates that? So this is where your funnel and your pyramid pair to create the hourglass. So you put in some time, energy, money at the top. It doesn't have to be money. Sometimes it's just time and energy. Sometimes it is money. Okay. But you put some in. You make sure you're getting the attention and interest of the right people so that they evaluate with you. Your negotiation goes smoothly. They make the decision to get a yes. Now you got money. Now your next step is you got to keep that money. If you keep your promises, okay, then they might renew. Yeah, if you told them you're going to do X and you do X, right? Let's say I'm going to pick on our digital marketer again, Abigail. If Abigail tells them, I'm going to get you at least 10 quality leads a month, and she delivers, will they renew for month 2? Probably, right? They wanted 10 quality leads. That's why they signed up. They got 10 quality leads. They'll renew services. Now, she's won their trust. Are they likely to then, if Abigail says, listen, I got this other additional service. If we do this other thing, yes, it'll cost more. It's an upsell. It's another thing. Probably get you an additional 5 quality leads a month. And they say, let's say, okay, right? They'll upsell because you kept your promise. She kept her promise. Where do the recommendations and referrals start flying? Where do you get, what is that secret sauce that builds word of mouth? It's when you don't meet people's expectations. This is the secret sauce, okay? Think about it. You go to a restaurant And it's like this super fancy, like really nice, high end, like just from the outside, you know, this is like, you know, a week's salary kind of place. Like it's just this really high end, fancy restaurant. And you decide, special occasion, we're going to splurge, we're going to this restaurant. And you go, and the service is, it's not bad. It's good, but it's not like stellar. And the food is, it's good. It's good food. It tastes good. It's quality. It's good flavor, but it's like, it's good. And you were expecting this place to be great, right? Now, depending at what level they don't meet your expectations and they disappoint you, is the level at which you will start calling your friends when you get home and being like, oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened. I went to this restaurant and it was just really not up to par, you know? Or when someone asks you, oh, what do you think of that place? You're going to be like, no, they're not good, right? No, I wouldn't recommend it. When you don't meet expectations, people talk. Now imagine you got kind of this place, looks like a dive. Yeah, it's just like a little dive bar. It doesn't look great. But you go in the services, it's pretty good. And the food's good. You know? What they're selling in this restaurant, in those two restaurants, could be the exact same food with the exact same quality service. The only difference is how they set your expectations. One set you up that they exceeded your expectations. One set you up so high that they disappointed you. But the deliverable was the same. It's not about the deliverable. Word of mouth is about the expectations you set. So the real trick is to purposely underpromise and overdeliver. If you know it takes you a week to deliver pictures, I need you to tell them they'll have it in a week and a half. But Estie, isn't that lying? That is setting yourself up for success. It could take you a week and a half. You're giving yourself leeway. What if something comes up? Maybe it will. You could say to them, yeah, listen, I'll try sooner, but for sure I'll have it to you in a week and a half. Yeah? Marketing is a manipulation. Period. End of story. But to manipulate is not bad. To manipulate just means to form. You manipulate metal, you manipulate clay. It just means to form. You're forming perceptions. And so you want to build in surprises. You want to build in things people weren't expecting. It's either on the quality, the service, or the timing, right? This is where people will judge you, okay? So the quality of your product or service, the support, the actual service element, right? How much you support it and how well you treat them, or the timing of, let's say, delivery. I remember when COVID hit, Amazon was giving you these like ridiculous delivery windows. Yeah, and everyone's in like mass panic, I can't get my toilet paper. And they were like, we'll get this to you in 2 weeks. Yeah, and then it would come in like 4 days. You're like, oh my God, I can't in 4 days. And Amazon used to be like, you know, same day or 2 day delivery. So Amazon knows this. They know that people have now been conditioned for 2 day delivery. They know that they can't get it to you in less than 4 days, right? Maybe 5. So what are they going to do? They're going to tell you 2 weeks because they want to so far exceed your expectation that you celebrate them. Now, you're going to say, okay, but then people might not buy it. Fine. This is the balance. But the key, right, the master key that unlocks the entire hourglass is exceeding expectations. And the more you exceed them, the more this flows. Now, what I'm showing you is a framework. Okay, you saw it. I can apply it in any business. And this framework applies in multiple elements of your business. So this framework applies when we teach our pitch triangle. It applies when we teach, let's say, our LinkedIn framework, okay? You can take it and apply it in all different industries and businesses and in all areas of your business, okay? So now you understand it. The sunshine I didn't get to tackle, that's core, but I have a present for you. Ooh, do you want a present? I have a present for you. Yeah, one present. If you don't, it's fine. Even Rosemary went to sleep on me. So I have a present that fills in the missing pieces. Okay, so this is present number 1. Yeah, I'm surprising you. This is present number 1. And the pieces that you don't know how to fill out on this yet, I'm going to give you free access to my 5-day marketing success challenge. Okay, so this is a paid program that I built. It's a mini program. It took 5 days, it's about 15 minutes a day. Like I made it very light and easy. And what it is it breaks down a bunch of the steps of the stuff that I just showed you today. So I go through how to pick that avatar, right? How to figure out your attention getting strategies with social media. We go through how to do your pitch, that little triangle that I flashed on screen for a second. I wasn't teasing you. To be mean, I was teasing you to get you excited. I've got an entire day 5 goes through the pitch triangle, breaks it down and explains it. So the 5-day challenge is geared to give you the clarity and confidence to market yourself successfully, right? It goes through finding your unique essence, that little sunlight, that little sunshine on my picture. That's the core. I teach you that on day 1 of the 5-day challenge. That whole avatar piece, I'm talking about how to find your right person. That's on day 2. Day 3 takes you through using your strengths instead of having to spend money on marketing, how to leverage your strengths to get the right attention of your people. Day 4 takes you through social media, and day 5 takes you through the pitch. So if you go to estierand.com/free gift, you can grab that. Now, I don't know, I know this is being recorded. So if you are watching this on a recording, if you're not watching it live, the reason I give you the free gift link is even if I take this challenge down, meaning right now, today, that's what's there. But I always put something cool on my free gift page. So for today, this is there. For tomorrow, it'll probably be there. Next week, no promises. All right, so you can always go and check back and see if there's a new present hanging out. But for those of you watching the recording, if this isn't there, something else very cool will be. You can always go to estierand.com/free gift and get a present. But, you know, if you go now, you get this thing. All right, so I know I'm over time. Don't kill me. I just gotta tell you how the story ends, okay? So the story ends like this. I started this business. I was actually living in Jerusalem, yeah? I moved to Los Angeles only about 6.5 years ago. And when I moved to LA, I figured out that LA is really expensive. You're like, I said, did you not check that out before? Like, I did. Like we did our due diligence, right? We did research and we spoke to people who lived here and we tried to figure out if we could make it here. And we thought we could. LA is expensive. I'm in West Hollywood, arguably one of the most expensive cities in the world, probably. And we got to this point where it's so funny because I've been telling this story for a while, but life changes, right? So when I would tell this story a year ago, I would talk about how, you know, my husband and I were making it work. And now I get to tell you my ex-husband and I were trying to make it work because life changes. So at the time, my now ex-husband and I were trying to make it, and we were both working, and his job had become toxic. Now, I had been really pushing. I was basically the sole provider all the years, and I really did not want him to let go of that job, right? It was a lot more than just money, really didn't. But I wanted to return the favor because when I left my job as the CIO, he had my back, right? It happened this one night. I was actually putting my kids to bed. And for me, bedtime is sacred. Yeah, I come from a severely abusive environment. And like many abused children, you're like, I'm going to be the best mom. I'm going to be there for my kids and I'm going to love them up. And I'm not going to be like my parents. I'm going to be present. And so for me, bedtime was sacred, right? No phone, no work. I am present. I am with you. And when the company hired this toxic guy and he was just making my life miserable, the drama, oh my God, I can't tell you. Like me and my coworkers were just on the phone all day. Did you hear what he did? Did you hear what he did? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it was just like the drama was so intense. And I remember I was in the middle of bedtime prayers with my kids and my phone rang. The fact that I even had my phone with me was out of hand, right? I would never have my phone with me at bedtime because I was distraction free. I'm a good mom. And my phone rang and I answered it. I remember my husband came in and he was like, Estie, quit tonight. This is not who you are. It's not who you want to be. He wasn't being bossy. He was right. I had to quit. I quit that night. Right? That began my whole journey to where I am today. I was so scared, guys. I was so scared, but I could not stay. And when we moved to LA and we'd already been here a number of years and it was tough. I did not want really to return the favor, but I sat down and said, can I? And we had been doing these marketing strategies, like the stuff I just taught you, and I'd been developing it over years. And I said, you know what? I haven't done one of these on our company in a long time. Why don't we sit down internally? And I sat down with my staff. Why don't we sit down with us and make our own Hourglass, right? And I teach what's called marketing flower. It's an organic marketing strategy. So you never waste money on marketing again. Why don't we build our own marketing strategy on the stuff that we teach everybody else? And we sat down, and using this framework that I've shown you, and there's a couple other pieces, you'll see them in the 5-day challenge. Using this framework, I sat down and I was like, oh my God, he can quit. Like, we'll be fine, right? At the time, I was not earning enough money to support us on my own. I really wasn't. Like, we needed both salaries. I sat down, I was like, I am so confident in this, because the problem was I couldn't earn the more money without getting the more time. So he had to quit for me to do it. So I had to be so fully confident that I could do it in order to let him quit, in order to go do it. It was like this, cycle thing. And I sat down and I said to him, quit tonight, because it's not who you are and it's not who you want to be. And I'm going to free you from your toxic environment. Let's go into freelance to do your own thing, because I've got this, because this works. So I don't believe in this just for you. We drink our own Kool-Aid here. We do this.